I'm going to go with this person right here, Aelora, coming out of Oregon again. Witches on TikTok are giving bad advice to induce labor for an abortion. That's scary. Aelora, you're with Kenneth and Johnny on Talk Heathen. What advice are they giving?
What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember a couple weeks ago, I was scrolling TikTok, and first, I think it's probably because I'm in the queer community. I see a lot of witch talk. A lot of queer people are into witch stuff and astrology. And I had seen a video of a woman who identified as a witch giving advice on what kind of herbs you could use to induce an abortion in the face of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
And she was talking, I can't remember the specific herb, but talking about, inserting it in yourself and leaving it in, and that would help induce an abortion. And I saw it and I was like, well, it's clearly not great sound medical advice, but witch talk is very vicious on TikTok. So I didn't want to get into it. So I just kind of scrolled past, and then a few days later heard of at least 3 people that had taken that advice. 2 of them ended up dying. 1 of them ended up in the hospital.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Laura, are you yourself a witch? Do you consider yourself a witch?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
I think that makes 3 of us, right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just wondering, first of all, I feel bad for not having said anything on the original video. I feel like maybe I should have said something, but that's not something I can change. So now I'm just kind of wondering, how can I, it's like I'm trans, but I am a person that has a uterus. I want to protect other people that have uteruses in the face of this kind of information. I know people are getting desperate with the Roe v. Wade stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just kind of wondering how I can sort of combat that when there's so much misinformation going on about how to induce abortions and, different ways that you can do that without, if you don't have medical care around you. Like, it's just very scary. I didn't think we would be seeing people die so immediate. I mean, I know people are currently dying, especially people of color, but I didn't think we would be seeing this kind of stuff so soon, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Aelora, you're right. It is scary. We've gotten so many calls in this show about why abortion is some philosophical debate subject, but it always comes down to the practical reality that people will engage in dangerous behavior out of desperation in order to terminate a pregnancy. What can you do? Golly, I'm not a doctor of medicine, and neither is Kenneth this week.
I'm not either.
There's, I guess, if you're engaging in TikTok, you might find, certainly you shouldn't be giving medical advice, but that's something you can say. You can say, unless you're a doctor, you should not be giving medical advice. If there's a particular herb, you might find links to the use and misuse of these herbs and try to attach a link to that. Kenneth, you're a TikToker.
I spend hours and hours on TikTok because I'm a responsible, functional adult.
He's an adult.
Here's where my brain went. Is that, like, I see, so I mean, like 99% of my feed when I'm looking at like live feeds especially is religious stuff. I see all kinds of stuff about people having conversations about abortion, and I mean the odds of you finding 2 people having a conversation, making sense, having like a nuanced, intelligent discussion about an issue like abortion on TikTok is like it's like non-existent. But what you will find on that platform and on this platform of YouTube are people who are professional educators in the spaces of science and medicine. Mm-hmm. So there are people who that is what they do, is they want to hear people making these kinds of claims so that they can create stitches with them or make response videos and address this stuff. And one of the benefits of a platform like TikTok is you can tag the original content creator in what your response is so that their audience can be more likely to see the response. So there are people like one of our friend, a friend of the show, Forrest Valkai, is a science educator and talks to people who make bogus science claims. I know people who do that, and they engage with people who are flat earthers. I'm not sure if Student Dr. Ben is doing the TikTok thing, but Student Dr. Ben hosts a whole show about medical misinformation and talks about that kind of stuff. So I would say it's not your responsibility to correct every harmful, bullshit, dangerous, stupid idea that you find on TikTok. And you shouldn't feel any kind of guilt or anything like that for not jumping in here, because like you said, you may have just invited a bunch of harassment your way. But there are people who are willing and eager to do just that. So I would say, look for doctors on TikTok who address this kind of shit, tag them, be like, DM them. And incidentally, anybody watching, if you come across wild religious videos, DM me, send them my way, because that's what I do. So the whole thing would be find someone who can effectively engage with these things, who is an authority and an expert.
Yeah, DM. Yeah. Oh, I said the word. Talk Heathen.
Yeah.
The Talk Heathen TikTok place. Don't forget MD Aware.
MD Aware for sure.
Yeah,
and Forrest, incidentally, is going to be on Atheist Experience after the flagship show, The Nonprofits. So
the flagship's going to set sail, and then you can watch AXP.
And Forrest
awesome. Forrest is great. But if not you trying to do that work, I mean, don't try to give medical advice, obviously, but feed information to professionals, right? Try to assist those people who are doing that work. It's a shame that people are resorting again. I see that those witches, their hearts are in the right place, their compassion is in the right place, but that's careless. And I would say this is the effect that magical thinking has upon the human mind, because the reason why these terrible laws are getting passed, these restrictions are getting passed, is because of magical thinking. And now we're fighting magical thinking with magical thinking. Let's not do that. Let's fight it with reason and compassion and science. Okay. And somebody in the chat, I just want to say this really quickly while I got you on the phone still, said, wait, isn't abortion still legal in this country? Yes, it is in many places. But the reality of it is it's not available or practical or affordable for many, 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 many people.
Yeah.
It may be the law of the land as we speak right now, but the practical aspect of it is you may have to travel hundreds of miles to actually get one. And if you don't have the dough to do that, it's as good as illegal, right? And so what are you going to do? Your life, your future is at stake, and people get desperate and they don't have all the information available to them. So they turn to fucking witches on TikTok to try to solve a problem.
Like, as that's coming out of your mouth, I know you're feeling it as much as I'm feeling it, just the sadness of that. And there are people who are trying their very hardest, motivated by magical thinking and faith-based nonsense, to make abortions more difficult to get every day. So the desperation of turning to the TikTok witches is a sad thing indeed. But a conversation I have with people on like a near daily basis now is about why it's a problem to believe stuff on faith or to believe stuff without evidence. And I mean, this is it. It's and this is going to be my end of show 2-minute rant there's a normalization in our culture of people just believing bullshit, believing stuff for which there's no evidence. And the more that people just act like this is a normal and acceptable thing to do, the more it just sort of keeps happening. So from people who have legitimate, medical concerns, they need to go see a doctor, but they go see someone to get Reiki. That's a problem. People who are desperate and in need of medical care, so they turn to witches on TikTok. That's a problem. people pray. I've got a whole book. I got a book right here. I got a whole book right here that's just like hundreds of pages. It's called When Prayer Fails, of people who are praying for their kids and the kids just fucking die because they didn't get to go see a doctor. That's a problem. And it persists. So please, people, please practice critical thinking and listen to experts who know what they're talking about, because our beliefs are consequential. They inform our actions, and our actions have consequences.
Thank you so much, Aelora. I'll let you go.